Hello and welcome. It's Dr. Michael Gaeta, and wanted to share with you some of my thoughts on cancer. Cancer is on the rise and is one of the leading causes of death. Actually, it's the number 3 cause of death in the United States after conventional medicine and cardiovascular disease. And it's been on the rise for several decades, despite the war on cancer that President Nixon declared in the 1970s. So I've been thinking lately about what can we do, what can you and I do to increase our cancer resistance. And wanted to share with you one of my favorite herbs, actually, is green tea. And I wanted to share this with you as a very simple but effective thing that can help to increase your cancer resistance. And so green tea is Camellia sinensis. That's the botanical name of the herb. And probably you've had a cup of this at some point. And the Camellia sinensis plant, the leaves of this plant are used as tea. What we usually call tea often is this stuff, this Camellia sinensis. Whether it's green, black, or white, it's the same plant with different ways it's processed. And so I want to focus today on green tea. That's where the bulk of the scientific research has been done. Among these, the green, black, and white forms of tea, easily this is the area where there's been the most research and as well as historical use. So I wanted to share with you a couple of studies on green tea and cancer. This one came out in 1998 in a cancer-related journal. And this is a study of studies, a meta-analysis or systematic review of 26 studies, as well as 2 clinical trials, which usually show an outcome after an intervention. So they'll observe the group, they'll intervene with something, and then observe again and see what changed. And that's basics of a clinical trial. And so then there are 26 epidemiological or population studies sort of observing cancer consumption and what happened in people who consume cancer regularly. So there was an overall positive association among these 28 studies over these decades between green tea consumption and cancer prevention. In other words, green tea was able to increase cancer resistance so that there was a reduction in the incidence or occurrence of cancer in these people. And so especially they found reduction in colon and bladder and pancreatic, esophageal, and lung cancer, which was very significant. And green tea has amazing benefits. So we could look at, well, why would green tea be preventative in cancer? Well, one of the reasons is several mechanisms. One is the benefits on gut flora. And the human microbiome, which mostly resides in the large intestine, is one of the most powerful and important regulatory systems in the body. The gut flora literally affect or regulate every system and every function of the body directly or indirectly. And so anything which improves the health of the gut flora will improve your overall whole body resilience and well-being and health. And conversely, anything which injures the gut flora will adversely affect the body systemically. And so what's happening here with the green tea is partly the benefit on the microbiome in the gut. And specifically, green tea inhibits the growth of pathogenic bacteria and promotes the growth of healthy bacteria. So you can think of it kind of as a prebiotic. And that's a very, very powerful reason to consume green tea every day. Second reason green tea appears to be cancer preventative is its effect on cell protection or cytoprotection, and the master switch, so to speak, in our cellular defenses against toxins and radiation and heavy metal toxicity is what we call the nuclear erythroid factor 2. You science inclined folks may know this as NRF2 or NRF2. And this is a very important pathway in the cell which protects it from damage. And green tea is part of a select group of herbs that increase or optimize or induce this pathway, which means your cells are more resilient and more resistant to damage. So that's pretty awesome. I'd like to share with you a little bit more research now on this subject, and let's see what we see. So this is the first group of studies I wanted to show you. This was another study. This was published more recently in 2003. And this looked at, this is an epidemiological study or population study looking in folks in Japan over 13 years. And they found that folks who consumed green tea every day had a delay in cancer onset. Now, the average age of diagnosis of cancer is 67. So these folks were able to live longer before developing cancer, but more significantly, there was less cancer mortality or deaths caused by cancer, and amazingly, reduced mortality from all causes. So premature death across the board from any cause, any disease, was reduced. So that gives us a little hint as to the systemic benefits of helping the gut flora and optimizing this nerve 2 pathway. So that's pretty significant. And in the conclusion, the authors concluded that daily consumption of green tea in sufficient amounts, and I personally recommend anywhere from 2 to 3 cups a day, will help to prolong life by avoiding premature death, particularly death caused by cancer. So that's very significant. And personally, in my own daily life, I typically will consume between 1 and 3 cups of green tea a day, and I also take additional green tea in a supplement form. So this is 4 studies to continue on the research on green tea, that green tea was linked with reduced frequencies of more types of cancer, specifically the 2 most common types of cancer, which is prostate cancer and breast cancer. Prostate cancer accounts for about 1/3 of all cancer in men, and breast cancer in women accounts for about 1/3 of all breast cancer in women. So that's pretty big news that something as simple as green tea can reduce the risk of the 2 most common types of cancers, as well as ovarian cancer. And by the way, there was some preliminary research done on ginkgo leaf, ginkgo biloba leaf. And this is very preliminary research. We really can't draw any firm conclusions from it, but that the ginkgo leaf appears to inhibit the growth of ovarian cancer cells, very early research. But focusing on green tea, the evidence is pretty impressive. So it does appear that consuming green tea in a supplement might possibly have more benefit. And these studies that were done really just focused on, drinking a cup of tea. So my recommendation, what I do myself, what I recommend for you, is to get a good quality, preferably organic green tea, and to steep that in hot water for 3 to 5 minutes. If it goes too long, it's going to start to get pretty bitter. But good quality green tea, organic green tea, and have 1 to 3 cups a day as your daily drink. Now, optimally, that would, if you're drinking coffee, green tea would definitely be an upgrade to the coffee. But even if you drink coffee, adding green tea to your mix will be even better. So this is one of the many topics, one of the many herbs we're going to be talking about in the upcoming Cancer Support and Prevention course. This is an online 7-week training course for health professionals. So if you're interested in that, please visit me at michaelgaeta.com, and you can learn about this and other trainings. You can also read my blog, and there are many other trainings for health professionals and natural functional medicine for those who are interested. But please join us for the upcoming Cancer Support and Prevention. See you there, and have a great day.